Welcome back. This is Module 1L of my full Python course. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, please go ahead and do so, and let's get started. So last time in functions 2, we talked about the scope of variables, basically. So we found out that within a function, the stuff that you define there, including the parameters of the function, they are exclusive to that function. You're not going to be able to see them elsewhere. And what we will find today is that if you kind of mess around with the same variable names, you can get something a little bit wonky. So we did find before that if you set maybe x equal to 7, okay, we'll x out here, that's totally fine. And it's going to take a little bit to boot up there and good to go. So if we define f of, say, z, well, if we set maybe, let's just print z, okay? So if we print z, then we'll call that with f of, say, 5. That's a 6, that's fine too. F of 6, it's going to print 6. All right, that's not surprising. Now, what happens if we change this to be x? Okay, so we print x. Well, if we do f of 6, it's still going to be that. Notice that it did not do 7. Even though out here we had x equal to 7 and we're defining f of x, well, you might think that's saying like, oh, f of x, well, x is 7, therefore I should print 7. No, actually, it's going to make its own thing called x. So it's saying define f, which it calls its parameter x. And so therefore, whatever outside it names x before, it doesn't look at it, doesn't care. It's saying in the context of this function, within this function, x is going to be whatever you pass it here. Okay, so that is another part of scope. Scope mixed with the idea of just variable names is it's a little complicated when you are making the same variable name and you might say, okay, well, I'm just not going to use the name x multiple times. Well, you'll actually see x is encoding an extremely common variable name, and you want to be able to use x here as well as in this function, and you even want it to be used over here. So if you were making another function, maybe calling it g of x, well, then I want to print x, and I want that to be different than this x, and I want that to be different than this x. When I call g of, say, 2, I want that to be 2, and I do not want that to change the value of x. If I ask what x is out here, it is still that value of 7. All right, so this was a quick lecture. I will get back to more stuff in the next one.